Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining this special webinar where we're going to be doing a sneak peek of the integration between Accelo and NinjaRMM. My name is Jeff McQueen. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO here at Accelo, and I'm really excited to take you all through this sneak peek of the new integration that our team has been working on alongside of the great folks at NinjaRMM. We're going to go through a bunch of stuff today. Feel free to ask your questions as we go along. One thing I might request though is if you are hearing this fine and clearly, could you just make a note in the chat so that we know, because we've had situations in the past where it all looked good, but it wasn't. Looks like we've got some chat messages coming through now. So yep, all good news. Thank you so much, everyone. Well, without any further ado, I'd like to hand over now to Malin, who, if you considered a world where there was like a level 1 tech specialist and a level 2 tech specialist, Malin breaks out somewhere around about 11 or 12. He's absolutely one of the Accelo experts here. He's also got a background in working in the MSP industry, so he knows what all of you guys go through every day. So he's definitely the triple threat, and now he's going to show you how great he is at presenting this amazing new integration we've got, which is still very much in beta. So please be considerate and not throw brickbats as we go through this if things don't quite work according to plan. If you do have questions during this webinar, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A section of your console there, and we'll get to those either as we go if they're quick and easy to field, or at the end of the session. So without any further ado, here's Malin.
Well, thanks again, Jeff, for that intro. Always appreciated. I'll remember that during the next annual review.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look at our new NinjaRMM integration. So my name again is Malin. If you've already been part of the ongoing beta, you may know me. For those who haven't yet, you'll get very familiar with me as we go forward today and the coming days of the new beta for the NinjaRMM integration. So let's see what we're going to check out today. We're going to take a quick look through the whole idea of the larger integration, what issues we're trying to address and improve upon, and then we'll take a look at some of the functionality of that integration. We'll be taking a look at what syncs and how it syncs, looking at areas around alerts, devices, and organizations. We're going to be checking out some of our more advanced features, like controlling your devices in Ninja directly through Accelo. And then we'll look at some of the most important details about how that really improves your overall process, looking at things like how we can improve the billing process through Accelo. We'll take a look at the end of that at where the integration's at, what features you can expect coming in the short term, and of course, when those will be ready. And then we'll hit any additional questions that might come up throughout that process. So let's take a deeper look now at the integration itself. Now, as we're starting to look at the NinjaRMM integration, what we're really wanting to do is take those two tools you have right now, your PSA, your ticket management system, and NinjaRMM, and combine those into one simple tool. Because what we want to do is give your techs one tool to check on so that they're not looking at their phones for alerts and checking emails and seeing client requests come in different places, so that we don't miss important alerts, so that important problems that arise aren't missed. For everyone who's had a 3 a.m. outage, you know exactly how that can be when you're trying to find where it's happening and what the details are. We're going to give you a central place to address all those issues. And beyond just seeing the alerts, what we really want to do is give you an easy way to keep track of your time so that any time you have to spend working on these issues isn't lost, and so that you can bill your clients appropriately for that work. Taking advantage of all of Accelo's tools for managing support contracts and SLAs and billing. So let's take a look at what actually syncs between the two systems. We've got a handy graph here which should help give you an idea of what we're going to be syncing. Now, for those of you using NinjaRMM already, you know that there are 3 big areas that Ninja tracks. The first is your organizations, your clients and their various sites out there. What we're going to be doing is pulling all of those organizations into Accelo as client records. That'll let you keep track of their contact information, their physical addresses, how you get a hold of them. And with the power of Accelo, you'll actually be able to keep track of individual contacts as well. So where Ninja knows that you might be working for an important client, Accelo knows who that client is, what their phone number is, what their email address is, and has all the important notes about things like after-hours access if you have to go in and say, restart a UPS.
Always helpful to know that the laptop that's broken is Sally's laptop and not Tony's laptop. So
Exactly.
knowing who Sally and Tony are is a pretty handy thing Accelo can help with.
So if you do have to wake someone up at 2 a.m., it's the right someone. Now, in addition to organizations, of course, we have all of those devices. That's where that important detail about Sally's particular laptop comes into play. With devices, we're going to be syncing those into Accelo as assets. You may have already seen and used these devices in a very similar capacity to keep track of what those devices are, knowing what servers you have for the client at which sites, who has active laptops, and who has the expensive MacBook Pro. We'll also give you the opportunity now to bring not just the device into Accelo so that you know its name, but we'll be bringing in important details about that device. Things like the MAC address, if we have to deal with network issues, the fully qualified name, the IP address, the Windows version, all those helpful little details that right now you have to jump into Ninja to find, we'll have that right in front of you in Accelo. And beyond just being on the asset, what we're going to do that I think you'll love is link that asset into the alarm in Accelo, so that as you're seeing the details and putting in your notes and connecting in to address the issue, you can actually see exactly what you're working on, so that you're not jumping between systems.
The other thing that's going to be great about that is Ninja is by far more knowledgeable in real time about what the assets or devices that Ninja calls it are, because it's running on those devices. So when things change, Ninja gets updated really quickly, and now Accelo will be able to automatically be updated so that you'll actually be able to go to the assets section of Accelo and feel confident that what you're seeing there is up to date and not just subject to somebody on the team having time to go through and manually update or re-import from a big asset list. So I think that'll be really helpful for folks that are doing the support and the tech work.
Absolutely. Now, to make sure that that device information isn't lost on you, what we've actually done is started to sync the alerts that are being raised in Ninja into Accelo. So as alerts are raised for everything from CPU utilization being high, to low disk space, to servers being offline, to antivirus being out of date, all of those various alerts that come up in Ninja are now going to be synced into Accelo as requests. And we're going to be using these requests to start the support process. For those minor alerts that arise, CPU utilization being high, disk space being low, it'll be your key to begin troubleshooting that process, getting CPU utilization back under control, and starting, hopefully, billable work to address issues like low disk space, to replace hard drives, and to make sure that you're getting the most out of these alerts and actually actioning on them. Now, that's a two-way sync, because we want to make sure that the alarms you're seeing in Ninja are up to date in Accelo and vice versa. So as alerts are raised in Ninja, they'll come into Accelo as requests instantly. As requests are turned into billable tickets and you begin the larger support work, we'll be closing those alarms out in Ninja. So again, if it's 2 a.m. and you've got a server out and you're already starting the process in Accelo, you don't have to take that extra time to go back and silence the alarms. We'll take care of that for you. And for those minor alerts, again, CPU utilization being high, if there's not much to do about that just now, we make it easy to simply close that request out in Accelo with the click of one button and sync that back into Ninja as well, silencing that alert so you're not pinged all night long. Now with requests in Accelo, for those of you who already use the system may know, these can turn into much bigger steps when you find larger work arising. So we can take a request and turn that into a very simple ticket where you can quickly throw in your time and notes as you're working on these remotely. If you have to go buy something, we can start to track expenses and the costs of those to make sure that we're billing your client and keeping track of them. And of course, for your clients on support contracts, we can incorporate the time and tickets and costs that you're incurring into that support contract. So if your client's already paid for the work, you can really show them the value of what they've paid for, showing them the time and costs that they're saving. And of course, bringing all that together into billing. So making sure that what you can bill for and what you can get paid for, you do.
The request tickets experience is a really special one too. A lot of folks, when they come to look at Accelo for the first time and they've been using one of the more antiquated ticketing systems that's out there, ask really, what's the deal with this request queue? Why does this exist? And we built that because we had experience of using these antiquated ticket systems where you had to go through so many hoops to do the simplest little things. And so what we created with the request queue is the concept of almost like a triage ward. If you think about a visit to the ER, you get checked, you get identified whether or not you need to get admitted or whether they just need to, fix you up and send you on your way. And so with our request queue, you're able to have multiple request queues. You're able to tell Ninja which request queue to use. And then once it's time to start doing real work, you're able to turn that request into a ticket. Additionally, if you know that you want to turn that request into a ticket because it contains a certain string that matters, like urgent or offline, or if it's for a client who's in a VIP status, we can automatically turn those requests into tickets using our triggers functionality. So for those folks that are still really wedded to everything being a ticket, fear not. There is a pipeline that automatically turns requests into tickets. But for folks that want to actually look at the way they work and their workflow a little bit more freshly than they have been using the antiquated stuff, people tell us that they absolutely love the fact that we have a request queue where little stuff like hard drive is low, you could just go straight in with the TeamViewer link from Accelo, then empty the temp folder if that's what you need to do, and then close it out in Accelo with just a comment or a note which will appear on other reports.
Exactly. We want to make that whole client lifecycle as simple as possible, from alert to closure to billing. Now, Jeff, you mentioned an important part there of what we really want to do with this integration. Now, for those of you in Ninja, it's incredibly helpful to have an alert system that'll tell you when there are issues that you need to address. But even more important than just knowing that there's an issue is being able to actually address it quickly and simply. And so one of the big features that's available in Ninja and that we want to have available for you in Accelo as well is the ability to control those devices remotely through TeamViewer. So we're going to be bringing that tool into Accelo, allowing you to quickly see that an alarm's been raised, begin putting in your notes and your time spent addressing that issue, and actually connect right in and take control. That experience is going to be pervasive throughout the requests and ticket process for those of you quickly jumping on issues as they arise, or scheduling smaller work for later on. We can quickly jump in and update your account so that you don't have to spend time jumping through multiple systems and asking clients for connection information. Now, along with the remote control process, we're looking to include the command prompt as well. So if you do need to quickly flush DNS because you've got a client who's using their own DNS, we make it really easy to jump in and quickly make those changes through Accelo.
The objective here is really this concept of a single pane of glass. And so we want to make it possible for your techs, whether they're spending their life in Ninja or whether they're spending their life in Accelo, which has the advantage of being able to tie them back into billing and time logs. We want to make sure that the left hand knows what the right one's doing. And what's exciting about this integration is it actually is a true integration, which doesn't suffer from some of the challenges that the more vintage vendors have of buying up companies and plugging them together, but not doing a great job of the plugging. In this case, it's actually using real modern cloud-based technology like webhooks for real-time experiences, and is using modern APIs. So you get the benefits of deliberate integration as opposed to, hey, we just acquired this company, someone just gets something in place so at least it kind of works, which is unfortunately what a lot of the industry has had to put up with up until now.
Exactly. For those of you who have to use older technology, which refreshes on a regular basis to tell you probably the most accurate information, it's going to be huge to be able to get the up-to-date details about problems and quickly address them as they arise. Now, at the end of that cycle, through requests and tickets, of course, at the end of the day, the whole point is to get paid. We've got to make sure that we're not only keeping track of these issues and addressing them, so we have happy clients and effective clients, but we've got to make sure we're keeping track of the work so that we can get paid for that. So we're going to be looking as well throughout this process at about how our time goes into tickets, how additional costs around hardware and travel can be factored into those, and of course how we can be billing for that at the end of the day. Now, we've talked about a couple of different tools already. Let's take a look at how some of those actually look in Accelo. We're going to look now at some live examples. Now, what we're looking at is, of course, a screen that you're all very familiar with, your NinjaRMM dashboard, where all of your organizations and devices and their potential issues come into one place. Now, as you get larger and larger clients, you're going to start to see that these lists get a little bit larger. Now, happily, I've got a very small client list to address, and so it's easy for me to keep track of these two. But as you've got these large distributed networks, there can be a lot to keep track of here. And so this is the first place we're going to start to integrate the two. These organizations and these alerts are what you're going to be seeing pulled into Accelo. So let's take a look at what those actually look like. We're going to jump over to the request queue. Now the request queue is that list that Jeff mentioned a moment ago, where we can quickly jump in and see these issues as they arise and decide what the next step should be, whether we begin a billable ticket or just quickly make a couple of notes and close it out. What you're seeing right here is a list of all the alarms that have been raised in Ninja and are still live and still need to be addressed. They come complete with the details of the alert that you might get in your push notifications or your quick email alerts from Ninja already. So let's take a look at one that's already in here. We can see that CPU utilization is a bit higher than our threshold. In this case, it's a little bit low at 5%, but maybe we have a client with an expensive Alienware and they want to make sure it's running as well as possible. So we want to make sure it's running as well as possible.
Or in this case, we just want to trigger lots of alerts for testing. So we have to set that real low or everything's quite hunky-dory.
Exactly. Now with these requests, remember, we can make it easy to address them. If we already know that, oh, this is an ongoing problem and we've already addressed it, we can quickly jump in, put a couple of notes in for ourselves, spelling optional, and send it. And you may notice right down at the bottom that even when we're starting to work on really simple pieces of work like this, we already have the time running so that we can keep track of the work that we're having to put in. Even if we're not going to be billing the client for that directly, it's going to be important to know that this alarm and this client is costing us 5 minutes every day or so, because that can start to add up. Now, when you find an alarm like this that needs a little bit more done with it, we have the option to take that next step and turn it into billable tickets. But before we even get that far, we've got to have an idea of what's going on with this device. We see that the CPU utilization is high, but we want to quickly jump in and see what's going on with it. So every request and ticket will give you this handy link to the device info. And this will actually bring that up right in Accelo, so you don't even have to leave the system you're already in. And here it'll show us all the key details about what's going on with that device. We'll of course get details from Ninja about the device as it exists right now. We've got the names and the last user, so if we have to find it on the network or who's been working on it, we know. We know what's been online recently. We of course know addresses so that we can find it. And we even have the link over to the Ninja device handy right here. So if there's something more that you need, you can always access that quickly. Most importantly though, because I find this incredibly helpful when I have a problem device, are these details here for the latest items. If you're getting a lot of problems with the device, say a server is just going down every day, this area is going to be huge because it'll show you that history. If you've had a Windows Small Business 2008 server running in a client's back room for the past 10 years, you can quickly see here, hey, I've had 161 tickets on this thing recently. The CPU's had to be replaced twice recently. It's been going down. Information like this is going to help you make those decisions of where it's going to be cheaper to replace devices, where you can advise clients to upgrade things as well, but give you that power to really know when you're starting a ticket if there's history and more information to be aware of. Now, once you've got all that power and all that knowledge into one place, we make it easy again to start the support process. If we find that, hey, we do need to get in and replace this CPU, all we have to do is convert this request right into a ticket. Now, as Jeff mentioned, we can actually do this automatically as well. So for those of you who want to quickly get into tickets or get certain types of requests quickly turned into billable work, we can actually automate this process directly. But when creating the ticket here, we have a chance to include all the information about what needs to be done. If we need our techs to install a particular CPU, if we want to do it at after hours, we have the chance to include all that helpful information right here in our ticket for the team to work on. And then taking advantage, of course, of all of our other automation, sending our clients email confirmation that a ticket's been opened, letting them know if we say need to schedule something, starting to keep track of our time, and all of the important details in between, giving you the chance to quickly address that work through your ticket.
One of the things you can do with that automation too is not only create tasks for people to do follow-up activities, but that notification email to a client, you can also create a time log without it being sent to anybody. which says, hey, I want to start, considering this as a 15-minute, somebody's paying attention to it. And so you log your 15 minutes there automatically, which a lot of our users really like, because it's great to have a stopwatch, but you're always going to be kind of underestimating time on that basis, because there's a bunch of things that happen before you click links. So it's pretty cool to have that automation.
Exactly. And once you've got your tickets in here, as you said, we make it really easy to log your time. Just hit that log time button, let us know how much time you spent, and you're done. It's that easy to get your time in. So if you're coming home at the end of the day, you've been out at client sites all day long, and you don't want to spend all night putting in your time, make it easy to just put those notes right in.
The other thing we've got that a lot of our users like is a stopwatch that's persistent and syncs with our mobile app. So let's say instead of spending the 30 minutes and saying log time after the fact, you or your techs could come in, hit the little stopwatch icon, which is up next to log time, and you might notice somewhat subtly down in the bottom right, there's now a persistent timer running. And you can click on that to see the details of it, and when you're finished, you hit the tick, and that will actually let you log the hours straight in place there. Again, that syncs with mobile devices, so it's just really, really helpful when you're out in the field to be able to do this sort of thing. And as Malin will probably show in a minute, we're also able to show you a timesheet of the whole day or even the whole week for a tech based on these things automatically happening, which is an incredibly great way to save time and effort getting your hours in and making sure that you don't end up doing a whole bunch of work for free.
Exactly. Now, when you're managing a group of techs, it can be hard to keep track of exactly every 10 or 15 minutes they're working. So we want to make it easy to incorporate all that time worked on tickets and little notes like this into one place to see what work have you been doing. So we have handy tools built into Accelo, like the timesheet report, to quickly review the team. If we wanted to just see, hey, what did the team work on today? We make it incredibly easy to see that John has already put in his 14 hours. He's our top earner. Tony's put in 10 already, and Travis is lagging a little bit behind at 4. But making it easy to see, not just that time's been worked, but what that actually accounted for. That John's been working for Delta on a couple of projects and some sales, along with all of the tickets that he's been worked on. And beyond just using this for internal reporting, this is an especially powerful tool for your clients who want to see the value of the work that you're doing for them. So not just seeing internally that I had 3 guys work today, but if I needed to see which clients I worked for and what the detail was, I could easily provide them with a report to tell them exactly that. Letting Delta know that we've worked on 2 projects and a little bit of billing for them today. Now, for a lot of us, of course, we have additional layers of billing involved in this work. So we're not just billing for tickets as they arise. Beyond that break-fix relationship, a lot of us have support contracts that we offer to clients. Now, some of those are hourly based with special rates, but a lot of them are set on a special price. Clients pay you for their gold or platinum tier service for the month, and then we've got to keep track of all of the tickets and time and maintenance that we put in to them. Through Accelo's automation, we actually make that especially easy. You don't even have to look at the support contracts to make sure that your tickets are being worked on. We can actually link those tickets directly into your support contracts, making sure that your usage of that budget is instantly tracked. And whether you're using support contracts to bill or billing for break-fix work, we bring all of that together through our simple company billing tool, letting you look at the end of the month for all the clients who have billable work to be done, quickly including their details for those with break-fix tickets and support contracts, and easily beginning the billing process. Getting an invoice out to your clients that has more than just a line item, but it also includes details about the work done, letting them know how we resolved a ticket and what actually happened in that 8 hours we spent on site last Thursday, letting them see the real value of the work you do.
What's great is you can choose the level of detail that you provide. So you can say, I want to designate that Malin, for example, was a tech who worked for 25 minutes on this particular ticket, but not provide a subject or body or any other detail. Or you might instead actually want to provide all of that information. And that's all configurable through templates. So, what you're looking at here is a more specific feature set. But yeah, you can basically turn things on and off, showing the amount of detail that makes sense for you and your clients. And then, once you've got that set right, the active billing goes from being something that takes many hours a month to something that you should be able to get done before the ice is melted in a nice glass of whiskey.
Exactly. And for those of you using specific accounting systems already, we already have active and robust integrations with services like Xero and QuickBooks Online. Now, if we jump back for a moment, let's see what's coming up next with Accelo and the NinjaRMM integration. Now, for those of you who've already seen, we are already in the beta period for our NinjaRMM integration. So we do already have access available for you. If you're interested in joining that right now, just let us know. Contact us at beta@accelo.com, and we'd love to have you participate. Now, for those of you already in, and as we're going throughout the beta period, we have a couple of more features coming still to really expand and improve on the integration. So we've got two big areas that we're still working on. The first is to improve the speed of the organization sync that we already have to make it real time. So you don't have to wait that extra minute or two for information to come in. It'll come in instantly via webhooks. So we're looking to get that set up here shortly and have that out by early April. The other big area is one we talked about a little bit earlier, and that's focusing on getting the team viewer tool that you have in Ninja pulled into Accelo, letting you take advantage of the remote control tools and command prompt tools available there. And we're actually looking to get that out a little bit sooner in the next couple of weeks here.